Big URC Grand Final tomorrow, and yeah, we've got somebody who knows both teams very well to chat about the final and just strengths and weaknesses of both sides, if there are any weaknesses for the two sides who got to the final. His side played Leinster last week and came off second best. Unfortunately, lost their title, I'm sure that doesn't mean he's not qualified. He's one of the top coaches in the URC in World Rugby. Franco Smith, welcome. And yeah, I hope you don't mind me introducing you like that.
Thank you, Brendan. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't mind. They say you can't win them all. So, no, that's fine. Obviously, it was, I would say, a disappointing result, but, both our European Cup campaign were brought to a halt by them there at the Aviva and now the URC. So, quality team. So, yeah, I think we'll say more about it as we go forward.
Yeah, just before we start, maybe just a reflection on your season. Obviously, being defending champions, it's not where you guys wanted to end. But just if you reflect now on the season, where did things go right? Where did things go wrong? What do you have to do in the next couple of months?
No, Brendan, I differ actually. I think we had a brilliant season. I thought up to the Benetton game, we did really, really well. We were the defending champions. To play at your very best every week to defend the championship is a tough ask, and we saw that in the amount of injuries that we had, and it's all contusion and collision injuries, so it wasn't overuse injuries, it's just hard rugby. And once you have a target in your back, like being the champions, it's tough to stay ahead of the pack. And I thought we did it well. I think for 16 rounds we were second in the competition, which I'm really proud of. We 4 Lions in the squad. We, for the first time ever, qualified for a European Cup quarter. For the first time, I had a home Champions Cup playoff game in the round of 16. So, and then, we still, only in the last round, got nipped out, maybe through our own doing. We lost during the season, the first game against Ulster in the 87th minute with 1 point, and we lost against Ospreys in the 83rd minute whilst having the ball, with 1 point as well. So, you add those 6 points to our lock tally, and we wouldn't have played Leinster in the away fixture. So, no, I'm really proud of the boys. It was a great season. Amongst that, we've got 24 internationals. Or players that played international rugby. That means they were involved in the autumn test match series and the Six Nations, and will be on tour now, which, to keep everybody fresh. And our game model is built on enthusiasm and eagerness and freshness and creativity. So to keep everybody fresh, to introduce 8 new players to the European, to this level of play, new youngsters, and then, have all these boys playing international rugby. The club's in a good place, and I'm really proud of it.
I'm sure you're going to enjoy the time off now. I don't know how much time you guys actually do have off, but at least I'm sure you'll get a couple of weeks, hopefully rest and planning for the next season, I suppose.
Oh, look, it's getting shorter and shorter. In the World Cup preseason year, we've got 13 weeks, and now we're down to 3. So it's going to be the shortest preseason from my side. But obviously, it's such long seasons, and with the amount of minutes the boys play during the season, they don't really recondition in the preseason. It's more about conditioning properly, to be able to be injury free during the season. That's important. So we'll find a way, but it's going to be short.
Okay. Now let's turn to the final. Just on that, I mean, you guys know better than most because you played Leinster 3 times this season. How difficult is it to go to Dublin and get a victory as an away team?
Yeah, look, I think that, we know that they've for 8 years, 9 years. When I coached Benetton in 2013, 2012, 2013, Joe Schmidt started the program that was already well resourced by then. And they've built through the national team and also, through the Leinster Academy, a very strong international and probably the world's leading rugby program from that perspective. They're financially well resourced. They have a number of schools in Dublin to pick from, and so they have their journey on which they're on. They is more than 8 years old, and therefore the quality we've seen there, the fact that they've got 12 Lions, the fact that Ireland's been on top of world rankings for many a year now, and it means that they've got a good system, a very good team, and they complement their team with some very good internationals. If you look at RG Snyman, then obviously, and Jordie Barrett, along with people like James Lowe, and most of the boys there are really quality rugby players of international standard, and that makes it hard. So the fact that the Bulls have beaten them through the last 3-4 years often makes that obviously an interesting quest this week. But playing at Dublin now and at Croke Park this week is a real tough ask, and they will be definitely on top of their game, as they haven't won anything in the last years.
Yeah. Now, Jake said yesterday in his press conference, both teams will be desperate, but you need something extra. Just on the Bulls, I mean, you guys played them last year in the final. You had success there at Loftus Versfeld. They seem a lot more maybe mature team this year, the way, especially their results overseas, beating Munster and then winning at the Scotstoun, beating Benetton away and Connacht away. They're a team that never really won away games before. That must probably give them a hope this weekend.
Look, they're a quality outfit. I think there's arguably now the Sharks, they field a lot of Springboks, current Springboks. There's what makes the Bulls so effective is they do have Springboks, but they also have aspiring Springboks, people that's just so good but not yet picked by South Africa, which it makes them desperate every week to perform. And I think that's fantastic from a group of people to work with. I would think people that are aspiring to become the best in South Africa. They play at the IFL. The ball flies a little bit further. It's always dry. Well, I know from my own time there. This looks like there's a lot of cohesion around the players. It looks like the players have taken the team in their hands there, and the outcome of the results. You can see the desire to win, and that is all very good ingredients, I think, which make them different from other teams that you face. I think they've obviously have a massive pack of forwards, and that's where the difference is. So once you reach the quarterfinals of the competition, it becomes test match like rugby. You'll match each other from a defensive perspective and attacking perspective, and you need something special in attack to happen to beat a very determined defensive outfit. But the big thing that makes a difference in those games is a set piece. Scrum time. Can you scrum for penalties or not be scrummed for penalties? Can you convert the penalties into points through a driving maul or through a quality kicker at goal, and your ability to then exit from your side of the pitch as quickly as possible and be the next team to score? Those are the three things that I think in a final, in a test match like environment, makes a big difference. And the Bulls have all that. I'm sure their ball carrying ability will ask questions to the Leinster defense, the Leinster's offensive defense approach. So I must say, it's going to be interesting to see how they match up this weekend.
You've obviously coached Willie le Roux in the past. He's at his age, he's still having playing some fine rugby, and is quite integral to the Bulls' sort of attacking play as well. Just how important is he on Saturday?
Oh, look, I think he's seen it all. He's played so experienced, and I've seen he's played a lot of pressure games. So I think that is the other benefit. Having played people that's won the World Cup in your team makes a big difference. That they would bring a calmness to a difficult situation, something that Leinster does not have. They've won a lot of games, played a lot of test match rugby, but they have not won the World Cup or progressed further than the quarters before. So they will be desperate, having missed out on the European Cup for the last 3 years. Even if they dominated the URC, they've never won that. So there's going to be different pressure from there. And then have a guy like Willie le Roux on your side of the pitch that's going to bring a little bit more change room calmness, a little bit more of that experience will definitely assist the younger boys that's eager to outperform themselves.
We had a chat with him in the week, and the one thing he said, and Viddy's not a big talker, as you know, the one thing he said is just to try and remind his teammates that there's a reason why they're there, and don't go into your shells. Make sure that you play. And it's interesting because a lot of those players maybe don't know that pressure of a final away from home at Croke Park. It's very different to playing at the Stormers, obviously, and then playing you guys at Loftus last year with the crowd behind them. But just in those first 15, 20 minutes, Leinster are the type of team that can give you a 1-2 blow and score 2 tries within 5 minutes and make you play catch up for the rest of the game. That's going to be very important for them, I take it, and just to make sure you stay in that fight, that you don't let them get ahead of steam of them.
Now, look, Brendan, that's what happened to us twice there. The first game there in the quarterfinals, they just stuck us under pressure. We were playing catch-up rugby after 10 minutes, and you start being more brave. You play in different areas of the pitch. You become innovative. They pounce on those areas. From a mental perspective, they get ahead of you. They get on top of you. Gibson Park is brilliant on establishing that front foot ball to the forwards. Once he starts getting ball on the front foot, it makes it hard. But they are so clinical from that perspective. So we saw that the second game, we actually had the restart. So the first game, they had the restart. They scored within 2 phases, the 2-punch blow to talk about. And they backed it straight away up. Therefore, we weren't in the game at all. The second game, when we played them, we actually had the restart. We ended up their side of the pitch. We had 12 lineouts before half time, and the scoreline was 3 points difference in the end. So, and then in the semi-final, the opposite happened. They won the toss. They put us down from the restart. They got a penalty, turnover, kicked it in the corner, and after 6 phases scored. And they backed it up. So, yes, if they get their noses in front or they have the ability to apply pressure instead of absorbing it in the first 20 minutes, they're a tough team. But I would state that if you get past that and get up to the 60th minute mark without them having it all their way or not leading too far, that nervousness of not losing might creep in. So, yes, I agree that they apply a lot of pressure and they're very accurate in the execution and they know how to progress the pressure. But at the same time, if you manage to deal with it, it might narrow up the gap and it allow you an arm wrestle towards the end of the game.
They don't have many weaknesses. I mean, they are a team that I mean, as I said, Jake made the quote this week of they've got 23 internationals only because they're allowed to only play 23 in a game because they've got so many obviously international quality players there. But they aren't a side that has many weaknesses, but that mental side of it probably is exactly where they are a bit vulnerable. That if you stay in the fight and if you can make them doubt themselves and they don't get everything going their way, their breakdown, obviously, you can slow down that because they're also a team that prides themselves on getting fast ball, and the Bulls are going to have to do that as well.
Yeah, I think it's all about winning the gain line, Brendan. I think if you win the gain line and then your ball become quick, yes, and the same for them. I think we saw that, or that was the main mission last week, is to win the gain line from set piece. To avoid them getting quick ball, obviously from an offensive defense perspective, but in the same time, if they win the gain line, they are devastating. So yes, to spend time and tackle and slow the ball down is going to be important. I think it will challenge them. Just to go back on the quality of players. Remember, I started the conversation with the rugby program that's at the next level, and financially a lot of work gone into that. So one must compliment them for what they've done. I think, if you keep on referring to the number of internationals, from my perspective, nobody else's. If I keep on seeing that as the main challenge, then we'll never give ourselves a chance. I think personally, that is where each rugby program should head, is to develop as many players of national interest. That will lift the quality of club rugby. It will lift the quality of the product. Will invite more people to come and watch this. So they are just a little bit ahead of most rugby programs for reasons. And I think, and I agree with what Jake says, they have arguably 30 players there that any day can play in anybody's international side. So, but again, should be the compliment would say to the whole program there. And what an opportunity! I see the lessons that we've learned in those 3 games, invaluable. I think anybody for my coaching career itself is the limits are there to be pushed if you want to compete against teams that's got so many internationals. So I'm very excited, to apply some of these lessons and also, to evaluate where my rugby program currently with Glasgow has grown to. And I'm sure, if with the right resources, that the rugby part of things can still develop the product. And I think that should excite the supporters.
The also, I mean, if you look at the shape of the game on Saturday, probably one of the things that we're going to see, because both teams have got quite good kicking games. Bulls, I think, kick the most in the competition. They regather quite a lot as well. Jameson Gibson Park is obviously one of the best boots in the competition as well. James Lowe is very good in the air. Are we going to see a lot of that, or do you see it being a bit more free flowing than that?
Look, I must say I was quite surprised in the quarters and in the semi-finals to see how the scoreline of most of the, even in the Bristol Bath game in the Premiership, the scoreline was more freely. So I think maybe, the quality players that's out there both teams can score. You've got a very good attack and try scoring ability from a Bull side. They on average score 3.8 tries a game. Leicester is over 4 per game. So you can easily see a lot of tries scored. I do think if they have looked at our game last week, the Bulls, they would have seen that we've lost the aerial battle completely. That was as strong and as good as we were in the air against the Stormers the week before. We got manhandled from that perspective, and I think that was a main ingredient in our team that didn't function last week. So if you're going to kick the ball to them, you must win the aerial battle. Otherwise, they'll make you pay for playing on your side of the pitch. So yes, it will be interesting what the approach is from both teams. I do feel they will suss each other out in the beginning, but I'm sure both teams will go after where their strength is, and that is to score tries in the end.
I was just thinking on that the game that the Bulls won in the first URC at the RDS. They actually surprised, if I remember right, they surprised Leinster by not kicking the ball out quite a bit and rather kicking it into space infield, which was a bit. I'm just wondering what if they're going to go for similar tactics. But knowing Jake, he'll have something up his sleeve. So
look, not giving them set pieces is a good idea. It was also part of our approach. They launched very well from the lineouts, and they. But in the end, they even when we didn't kick the ball off, they were just good with the ball in hand. They ask questions. They are clever at the breakdown. They force you to give penalties away, and then they pounce on that once they get inside your 22. I think the last 20-meter execution rate is the highest in the competition. When they get into your 22, they take points off it. Mostly tries, So again, that you must have a quality group of players, and you must have various points of attack. So it's not just your scrum or not just your lineup, but it's also through the quality of the backline and the striking ability of your offset piece. So they have a lot of qualities from that perspective, and they will ask questions if you allow them in the 22.
Just, I suppose, getting to close it off, a prediction. Do you have a prediction? Do you want to make a prediction? It's a tough one.
Being a coach, I don't like predictions. I don't like. Obviously, through my career, I try to beat the odds. So I love going completely against that. So no, I think I would prefer not to make a prediction. But what I will do is that I think if the Bulls, are good at the breakdown, like you said, and they scrum well, they manage the set piece well. It can become a 50-50 game. If you deprive them from 22 entries, it can become a 50-50 game. But they must be the favourites, Leinster.
Yeah. I suppose the other thing is as well, just as they're going to have to find a way of unlocking that defence, because Jacques' defence is very good. And they're very tough side to go straight through, which the Bulls like going straight through teams at times. They're going to have to find ways around that or to unlock that in some way.
Look, they invite you a little bit to play to the width, being so hard off the line. they show you the space. If you can get the ball there, our first try last weekend was exactly that. They show you that space. If you can get it there, they will leak points. But a big thing though is that if you do take that space and you're not effective, they isolate you in the wider channels and they slow the game down just there and force you to kick the ball to them. So yes, if you can get it right, if you can manage the width, I definitely think you'll have to be brave on your own side of the pitch. Otherwise, you won't see that space. They are very aggressive in closing the door, and I see obviously they've got some fresh bodies in there as well, with Ringrose being back, and they'll be eager to contribute. So no, it's going to be a tough ask, but I believe it will be a quality game.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I mean these players are professional. I don't suppose there's anything in the fact that the Lions are getting together this week and they've got one eye on the Lions. I suppose they're gonna that hunger still to get the start is probably going to overshadow that anyway. So
Now, look, I spoke to Out of Lions. Obviously, it's an elephant in the room. Injury fears and things like that. But it was made clear by the Lions to them that they should perform if they want to play. So plus, again, I think the Lions is a massive, massive thing. But having not won any silverware in the last 3-4 years will inspire those boys. And the thing is, if this opportunity passed them by this season, how many of them is going to be involved the year after and the year after? There's younger boys, quality players coming through. So Brendan, yeah, I don't think they will leave any soft spots.
yeah, it's a fascinating final. I must admit, from my point of view, Leinster must be overwhelming favourites with everything in their favour. But there's you've shown it. You guys showed it last year at Loftus. Sometimes when the odds are against you, you find a way to win. So I'm hoping that for the Bulls, obviously from a South African point of view. But it's going to be a fascinating game. So
Yeah, I can't agree more with you.
yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'll close it off there, and yeah, enjoy the game.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brendan. Yeah, and good luck. Enjoy. I know where you are at this, so good luck.
Thanks, man.